all who listen to this happy podcast, welcome. I am Alex Cardwell, and this is Whip Busters.
Whoop a cow?
What?
Whoop a cow.
Oh, whoops. Today, I got to pick the topic, which is very clear because we are talking about the most magical company on earth, the Disney Corporation.
Ooh. When you add corporation onto Disney, it makes it sound more professional.
It does.
Yeah. It's like, here's some kids' movies. Professional kids' movies.
The best kids' movies.
Yes.
So, and not just movies, but animated TV shows, live action TV shows, a whole channel, and
video games.
The amazing theme parks. Oh, and video games.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is coming out real soon.
Yep. Epic Mickey was my childhood.
You really just named a really good game, yes. I love Epic Mickey.
Double Fine.
Was Double Fine?
I think it was Double Fine Studios.
Oh, shoot. That's awesome. Go ahead.
I don't know what that means, but...
They made a Brutal Legend and a couple other really good games.
Psychonauts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to start us off on our magical podcast this week, I'm going to ask us some personal questions. We're going to talk about our personal experiences with Disney, and then I'm going to do a quick little history on the company.
Good.
Like the nerd I am, because this is my thing. And then I created a bracket of the best Disney movies. Animated only, no live actions, no sequels. And then the best Pixar movies. Sequels are included because, you know, Pixar's a smaller range to choose from. And then we're going to put our best Disney and our best Pixar up against each other. So,
all right,
are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay, so I know Rayce's answer to this, but I don't know about you, Steven. Have you ever been to any of the parks?
No, I have not, and I really want to.
Yeah. If you could go one ticket to one park, where would you go first?
Which parks do I have to choose from? I don't know.
Okay, there's
Here we
Disneyland in California.
Okay.
Disney World has 4 different parks. You have Magic Kingdom, which is people ask, oh, I want to go to Disney World. And I'm like, you're at Disney World. They're like, the one with the castle. I'm like, that's Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
We're all in Disney World. I used to work at Disney World. This is a very common question. You have Hollywood Studios, which is a nod to the Hollywood that always was and never will be. You have Epcot, which is the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. It's where you have the World Showcase, and then Futureland. Not Tomorrowland, which is in Magic Kingdom.
Right.
But Future World. Sorry, I said land. Future World. East and West. And you have Animal Kingdom, which is the animal park.
It's a zoo.
It's not a zoo. It's not a zoo.
It's like more like a safari.
They have a whole safari on it that people say you will see more animals on Kilimanjaro Safari at Disney World than you will on an actual safari.
I feel like I need to do a bracket for this one too, just to figure it out.
And then of course you have Shanghai Disneyland,
Right.
Paris, all the around the world ones. Shanghai is like up and coming right now. That's where all the huge the Tron roller coaster, they're making a Beauty and the Beast ride. They just announced yesterday that they're making a Zootopia land. Oh, I'm so excited.
Snap. Okay, so which one has the most roller coasters?
That would be Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
Because it has Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster.
That's it then. With Animal Kingdom close second.
3, 2, 1, go! Then you're
0 to
launched.
60 in less than a second.
Awesome. Oh yeah.
And you just
It's
listen
the
to
only
Aerosmith
roller
the whole
coaster with
time.
loop-de-loops.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it is a wonderful ride.
Fun fact.
I'm
Of course, you know my name. My little brother is Tyler. So
Steven and Tyler.
Yeah, accidental. It wasn't on purpose though.
Even in our podcast, we have Steven and Tyler.
We do exactly.
Okay, so when you think the word Disney,
Yeah.
what comes to mind?
I think Mickey Mouse.
Mickey
First thing
Mouse.
I think of Mickey Mouse's silhouette.
It all started with the mouse.
Yeah.
Walt Disney.
I think Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I think oh gosh, did we have Goofy movie on here?
Goofy movie is not on here.
I
I
can't
am ashamed of
believe
myself.
this.
My sister's gonna kill me. That is like our movie to watch together.
You literally forgot the greatest
I said
pop
theater.
singer too.
It is theater releases.
Was it Goofy Movie? Was in the
Goofy
theater?
movie did not go into
You sure?
theaters. I can look it up real fast, but I'm like 90%
Okay.
sure.
We need to fact check this
Yeah, we do.
because I
Did
either saw it in theater or I saw it with a lot of people around, and I
can't type today.
yeah.
Come out in theaters. I spelled like all those words wrong. Initial DVD release,
Okay.
June 20th, 2000.
Okay.
Straight to DVD.
Gotcha.
Okay,
All right.
so that barely
Missed.
missed.
So I almost had to redo my bracket almost.
Yeah.
The Goofy movie does hold a very, very strong place. I have my Powerline 1995 World Tour T-shirt downstairs.
My girlfriend is too. She's got one. It's amazing. Love the colors.
It's very pretty. Powerline is amazing. With his hits like Stand Out and Eye to Eye.
Eye to Eye is the best one.
At the pools at Disney World, they have like DJs and stuff and like dance parties. And a couple of my roommates at Disney worked in children's entertainment or as a lifeguard at the pool. And they would have like dance parties and they would play Eye to Eye. And apparently all the kids would be like, what is this?
Really?
I was just like, only one of the best soundtracks to a Disney.
A bunch of uncultured
know.
kids with a swine.
Uncultured swine. Well, that is a Disney reference, or it's a Disney Pixar reference.
Oh, from what?
Toy Story. Look at me.
That's
I'm a Picasso.
Whatever.
You uncultured swine.
Because he says it to Ham.
Ham, the piggy bank.
I remember the scene, so yes.
So, you think Mickey Mouse, Rayce? What
Yes.
comes to your mind?
Disney for me was always a lot of stuff that usually doesn't actually involve Disney, I guess, or at least not stuff that you traditionally think of. Like a lot of people think of like Cinderella and Mickey Mouse, and Mickey Mouse is usually one of the first thing that comes to my mind. Mine was always Hercules, and that is specifically because that was what my entire childhood actually consisted around. We not only watched Hercules probably a dozen times. I had a stuffed Hercules doll, and
You get all the McDonald's plastic plates.
I did actually.
I've eaten off of those plates.
And then we also went to see the live action Hercules thing that Disney did that was like circus based or something. I forget
Like a
what
Cirque
it was.
du Soleil kind of thing.
I think it was something from when I was a really, really young kid. Like they even like when you went to the show, you got to buy. That's where we actually bought the stuffed Hercules, and we also got
Probably
the
a Disney on Ice.
It probably was.
Because I know they did like a big live action Tarzan, but I don't remember.
It wasn't a play. It was very circus-esque, I think. So it may have been Disney on Ice.
Herc on Ice.
But the other thing was I even had like the cup that they would drink out of that was in the shape of a pillar from it. So that was what it was for me for a long time, was just the movie Hercules.
Okay. Well, my
That's
answer.
a solid choice.
When I think Disney, I think magic and memories and childhood. Because, Disney's a place where you never have to grow up. And that rings true to me still to this day. Like,
Never grow up.
I refuse to. There's no fun in that.
Never don't stop can't.
What?
Never don't stop can't. I don't know. Just a bunch of like double negatives, triple negatives.
But I just think I grew up on Disney. I was not allowed to watch hardly anything but Disney movies till I turned 13. My family, we've been going to Disney since I was 6. Our first trip was in 2001, right after 9/11.
Oh wow.
It was very interesting. It was like empty. It was pretty great first visit. So, and it was during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which is the best time to go to Disney
Oh
World.
gosh, yes.
My whole family, we went as Peter Pan characters. I was Peter Pan. My sister was Tinkerbell. And my dad was Captain Hook. And for some reason, my mom was Tiger Lily and not Wendy. That didn't make sense to me, but whatever. But I will just, if I'm feeling super nostalgic, I'll go back and watch those home videos. I'll go back and look at those pictures. And it's amazing as a child to experience, but even as an adult to experience it through a child's eyes. And I've taken my little cousin for his first trip. I've gone with a few cousins for their first trips, or some of my roommates, the first time I worked down there, it was their first time ever going to the park. And I got to walk in there with them. Just getting to be there for that and see that, it's magical. It's magical.
Did you have like a favorite character growing up?
Yes. It's changed throughout the years.
As it should.
But that actually leads me to my next question.
Oh, yes.
Who is your favorite Disney character?
I asked a question. I don't even have one prepared for myself as far as the answer goes.
This is like our comic book episode when Brian asked us the question. Then we were like, okay, your turn. He was like, I actually don't know. You asked us the question.
Wasn't it the best DC movie or the best superhero movie?
It was one of those weird ones, but it was just like, you asked us the question.
And this isn't your favorite Disney movie.
Right.
Favorite Disney character. There is a big difference. Although often it'll be in the same range, but...
oh, man. I have a lot of favorite, like, characters from movies, but none of them, like, really, really, like, completely stand out. Mm-hmm. Except for Genie from Aladdin.
Genie's a good one to go
And it's
with.
not because of, Rob Williams, of course, passed away a couple years ago. But just I always laughed at him when I was a kid, but I didn't get the jokes until later on. Mm-hmm. And then when you rewatch it, maybe about 3 years ago, I rewatched it, and the jokes were pretty spot on. Yeah. Same thing for Hades and Hercules.
There's a lot of Disney movies, or even Pixar movies. You go back and watch it, and you're like, that went over my head as a kid, but...
Exactly.
Like the Wingspan extension in Toy Story 2.
Yeah, when that one's good.
Yeah.
I will... Oops.
Oh, you're good.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I got one more thing.
Sure.
I will say that of every Pegasus rendition, every version of Pegasus I've seen in any film, Hercules is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And they even beats Clash of the Titans. Barely.
Clash of the Titans really has a good one.
I love Clash of the Titans, but it's a whole different...
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
Yes.
I'd say for me, I got at least 3 of them for different various reasons. Mm-hmm. Of course, Hercules. I mean, that it was my favorite movie, and it's mostly due to him. Mm-hmm. I just really like the idea of him being this, like, from the beginning, him being this very just scrawny person that eventually became this, like, big hero. That it was just really cool to me. Now that I think about it, it's almost like a really weird, like, Superman story.
It is.
You think about it. It's actually super close to Superman, and that's really weird now that I'm thinking about it. But it was that, and then Jim Hawkins.
Correct.
From Treasure Planet. Just that was a whole aesthetic thing. The way he dressed, his hair,
that '90s hair.
It was fantastic.
And he drove his little surfboard ship thing, and
yeah, that movie also has probably one of my favorite quotes that I repeat just consistently, and it's the quote that the pirate guy, who I can't remember his name,
Long John Silver, I think, was because it's
a
remake of Treasure Island.
It's essentially the one, for those of you who've seen the movie, where he pretty much just starts talking about how fantastic Jim's gonna be and can't wait till he gets the cut of his sails and all that kind of fun stuff. And then my third one, which
You're not going to do the actual quote, though?
I'm not going to do the full one on this, unfortunately.
You got the making of greatness in you.
That whole thing's just fantastic. And my last one, which kind of comes out of nowhere, in a way, is the demolition expert guy from Journey to Atlantis.
Okay.
He has just, like, some of my favorite movies, quotes from that movie are from him when they're all like, oh gosh, there's this big, like, cavern, like, what do we do? And he just blows up this rock and he's like, look, I made a bridge. He was just so stale the entire time, never really gets much excitement, but every time he talks, it's fantastic.
So what I'm getting from this is you're a fan of the post-Renaissance era.
Correct? I'd say so.
We'll get into that more later, because that Disney could be broken down into several eras, but...
I mean, if we're doing like pre, it's always Donald Duck.
Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Donald. And he's number 1. He'll tell you.
Oh yeah, he is.
Donald and his little nephews, and
if you actually use a Mickey pen in the parks, like, get him to sign it, he'll, like, toss it to the side and get his own
really
Donald pen and sign.
That's
things.
so cool.
Yeah, and he'll sign Donald Duck number 1.
Good.
And if you're wearing a Mickey hat or even mini clothes, he'll give you a hard time because he's number one.
Good.
But my favorite characters growing up was I was that kid in elementary school that was obsessed with Stitch. Stitch was my thing. I watched the TV show. I literally have a collection that takes over my entire bed at my old house of Stitch plush animals, and I had all the toys. One of my favorite toys growing up was like this little Stitch, like an action figure thing, but kind of like a rubber duck kind of thing. And you would put him in the water, and you would squeeze it, and it would take in the water.
Yeah.
And then you would squeeze it again, and he'd spit it out. And it was supposed to be like his acid spit. And it had the little guard from the first beginning of the little hammerhead-looking guard, and it was like a little target, and you'd have to knock over the target with his spit. Like, that was the coolest thing. But as I've gotten older, and I've gotten a husband, I now have a favorite Disney couple.
Oh.
And that would be Rapunzel and one Eugene Fitzherbert. Flynn Rider for you noobs out there.
That, yeah.
Did you just try and pull in like gamer slang in your Disney podcast?
I did. Am I doing this cross-cutting genre thing right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. No. I feel if I was put into a movie and Rayce was put into a movie, it's Tangled. We're Rapunzel and Eugene. And now with the TV show, it just extenuates that even more. I don't think I used that word correctly, but I am a very big fan of Tangled. It's great.
I don't think Tangled gets enough love, and I haven't seen a lot of it, I would say, but I think I've seen like the last 30 minutes of it, and I really enjoyed it.
You're missing the best part.
I know. There's a lot of films I haven't seen, but I think Tangled might be one of two, unless I can't remember the other one, that I haven't seen all the way.
You're interested. I have all of these movies, most likely. There's some that I only have.
No,
I do have all, but there's some I don't have. And those are all on VHS. So I have those on VHS. But not DVD. Some of the newer ones I don't have, like Ralph Breaks the Internet, because it's not out yet.
Yeah,
but I don't have the first Wreck-It Ralph. I know. I'm ashamed. But that brings me to my last question. You don't have to have been to the parks or anything for this. What is your biggest, most favorite Disney memory?
Oh, man. Okay. I don't think any memory that I have is going to be recent, at all.
That's okay.
And that's good.
That's okay.
It's all childhood, so. Ooh, man. Give me a second.
All right. Rayce, you want to go to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? So, for me, Disney was just I won't say a kid thing, because that makes it sound
rude.
Like it's just for children. And because a lot of the stuff they put in it nowadays, you can kind of watch it at any age, because there's little jokes and stuff that can be understood as you continue and watch them when you get older. One of my favorite sort of Disney memories from when I was a kid, it's probably not even from when I was a kid. My favorite Disney memory, and I guess this doesn't really have much to do with Disney as a company or anything like that, but for me, it was probably when I proposed to you. That was probably my favorite Disney memory. Yeah, we're about to get really
my
sappy.
answer.
We're about to get really sappy.
Oh
in here.
gosh,
See, this could be a Disney movie itself, y'all.
So,
I'm in the middle of this love fest. I'm feeling just love.
It's insane.
I hate it.
So it was just really nice, just because I guess it does kind of tell about Disney as a company, because it wasn't even like a movie or anything like that, because there's lots of good stuff for me with Disney movies and little things that have happened, because I've never been super big into Disney as I got in my teenage years and up. It was mainly just a thing from when I was a kid that I super enjoyed it, and there's a few things like Treasure Planet and Journey to Atlantis and stuff like that, I would still occasionally watch.
It's Atlantis: The Lost Empire. But
yeah. Yeah, it's not Journey to the Center of Atlantis. That's a completely different movie.
Oh, wow.
But the thing for me was just how great they were able to set it up, and just how great the staff is and stuff there. You work there and stuff like that, so you already know kind of the trainings and stuff like that they probably have to go through and all that. But
and it's extensive. We could do a whole episode on just that.
The entire time we were there and planning everything, the people that helped us coordinate everything, the people that showed us what options and stuff were available for when I tried to do the proposal and all that kind of stuff, because I didn't want to be the traditional thing in front of the castle, because you had already told me that was something you kind of didn't want if we ever did get to a point where we would get, to an engagement point and that kind of thing. So they were very nice. They always contacted us, and then even the day of, they helped us plan this ruse and stuff that very much equaled out to what we really needed. And it's just fantastic. They definitely know what they're doing. Super trained. Never had a bad time while doing that or having any trips or anything there. So just at least the way they kind of approach things is very, very nice.
It was a very Tangled-esque proposal. He took me out on a boat out in the Seven Seas Lagoon, which is like the big, it's not a lake, it's a lagoon, in front of Magic Kingdom. And we went out on the boat, and they made me think that we had won the experience kind of thing. Not exactly won it, but some opportunities came around. We got to go on. I was just like, okay, cool, let's go. Mm-hmm. Next thing I know, and it was just me, him, and his family. My family was supposed to be at my cousin's house out of town. And next thing I know, I turn around, and both of our whole families are there, and he's down on his knee, and the fireworks, like, it was magical, y'all. It was so good. Like, I'm trying not to cry thinking about it. It was great. He took my answer, so now I got to think of a new answer.
I've got a.
So you go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have like a number one definitive, so I'm just gonna do like a kind of a rapid fire of like my favorite memories. So going way back, Lion King. I remember watching the film once in theaters, then seeing it dozens of times when I was a kid. When we got it on VHS, the big white VHS with the cutting edges. And I remember memorizing every bit of that movie as a kid. Every single line, every song.
As one does.
Mm-hmm. And then me, my sister, my cousin, and my stepsister, we went to a park, and I was living in Florida at the time, and we would sit there on a bench, and we had all the figurines from McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, and we'd act out the whole movie verbatim right there on a park bench. And like, I didn't know my cousin and my stepsister watched the movie or even, like, seen it. And we just sat there and just flawlessly did the whole movie. It was great. I loved it. Another one, I want to kind of bring it down a little bit. I remember first time really, truly bawling at a movie recently, and it was Up.
That first 10 minutes?
Yep.
That one.
I had to actually, like, get up from my bed, go outside and take a breather and contemplate, like, what am I doing? This is sad.
Try watching that in the theater with your grandparents.
Yeah. And then another one, last one, because I think the other ones were just bleh, is, oh my gosh, what was it? Okay. Kingdom Hearts, when it first came out.
Woo!
I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, so I'm instantly into the premise. And at the time, I was very edgy, I guess. So I was like, oh, Disney stuff in my Final Fantasy? That's dumb. I don't like this. This is for children. Years later, when unemployed, didn't have anything else to do, so I sat there and opened up Kingdom Hearts and played it. Holy moly. Did I have a fun time. I also had a Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, I played that right afterwards. And I think I had, like, oh my gosh. I just had a fun time. It just felt like I was a kid the whole time. And it took my mind away from, like, not having a job and being down in the dumps the whole time. So
that's like one of the big things about Disney. It's escapism to the finest degree.
And just having Nightmare Before Christmas in both of them.
Full disclosure.
Those are some of the best like costumes in the game too.
Easily.
I have never played Kingdom Hearts.
I honestly think you really need to.
I've always wanted to, but
Yes.
as we've said in previous episodes, I grew up only having Nintendo systems.
Right.
So I was never able to play it.
That should be the one New Year's resolution that you should start.
I need to play it.
And
I have them all.
I'm no expert. Okay, you have them all?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm no expert on them. I've only played 1, 2, and I'm going to play 3. But they're great. They're fantastic. They're not too hard either.
Yeah.
Like you and me already talked. Like Kingdom Hearts is how me and my brother got into Final Fantasy. That's why my name in his phone is a Squall Lionheart because of that game. And still, Kingdom Hearts 1 still probably has my favorite outfit that Cloud ever wears. With the black wing on and the metal looking arm and the red, like that was just amazing looking. So that's probably
it's almost try-hardy, but at the same time, it's really, really cool. So
and I'm still shocked that's not the costume that they've put in for him in Smash. Like,
yeah,
it's a little shocking to me because I was like, that's a lot of people's like thing, and they had that as their IP for a while because or not, it wasn't their full intellectual property, but they had it for quite a few of their systems for a while. Kingdom Hearts, because they had it on the Game Boy Advance, they had it on at least 2 or 3 DS games,
right.
And so I was kind of shocked they didn't keep the costume for it. But
yeah, that is kind of
a little weird. But they also swapped it, I think, immediately to the one from Advent Children after the first game. I think he's wearing the Advent Children costume in the second one.
He's got oh wait, you talking about in Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yeah, I think he's wearing Advent Children's costume.
I don't recall.
I think it's Advent.
So I have to get back to you on that one.
So, but anyways, they made a fantastic game out of that. Anyways, Alex, on back to you. What is your Disney moment?
I guess since you took the engagement from me, I gotta say my best moment, this is going to be a very wide memory, but the opportunity of actually getting to work for Disney was by far one of the best experiences I've ever had. I worked there spring 2015. I worked at Epcot at Mission Space, running the ride there. And then again, spring 2018, this last year, I worked at Toy Story Mania in Hollywood Studios. And so I just got to get trained with the company and just learn about how they operate and just getting to learn their guest relations there and see how far they're willing to just go to make things magical was amazing. I got to meet people from literally all over the world. I got to work with some amazing people. I got to hang out with kids and families all day, and I got getting, like I said, Disney makes me think of magic, and getting to be the person to create that magic was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And literally, it is such a big part of my life and such a strong emotional tide to me that I will never regret it. And if I could do it again, I'd do it in a heartbeat. So.
Heck yeah.
Woo!
So, moving on from our personal things to our little history lesson, I'm going to do a brief history, and then we will go on to our top picks.
It's learning time.
It's learning time.
Loading time. Time to load us some
Load
learns.
up some knowledge. So, as
Does this
one
loading
might
screen allow me to use
believe...
the thumbsticks?
Yes.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Inside joke. You're good.
Okay. Okay. Way to isolate the audience and me.
Yeah.
So, Walter Elias Disney was born in Chicago, Illinois on December 5th, 1901. He grew up with his family, and they weren't the richest people in the world. When he was really young, he moved to Marceline, Missouri, and they lived on a little farm, and he talks about that those were his best childhood memories. And when you go to Disney World or Disneyland, Main Street is actually modeled after Marceline, Missouri. So you didn't know that?
Nope.
I thought you knew that. Okay, yeah. So because those were his favorite memories, and he wanted to share that with other people. He always grew up drawing and being creative. When he was too young to actually enlist, he joined the Army. He was a ambulance driver, and he did a lot of art and stuff on his ambulance and around the world. And he worked for different companies where he went, newspapers, stuff like that. And one day he grabbed his brother Roy and was like, we're going to start a company. We're going to be cartoonists. And they did just that. The first few attempts weren't very successful. They were in terms of popularity, but a lot of stuff happened to him. Like a company stole his rights. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, Epic Mickey, you know him. They took a lot of his artists, and just he had a lot of stuff pushing him down, but he continued to push through, and he created the Walt Disney Company in 1923. Yeah, October 16th, 1923. It wasn't called the Walt Disney Company at the time, but it's what we know today as the Walt Disney Company.
It's still super funny to me how they got Oswald back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember how we were talking about Epic Mickey earlier? That's the whole reason they got Oswald back. They were like, we want this character. I remember this character. And they had to trade, I think it was an announcer or something like that. They traded a real live person to this group that owned the rights to Oswald still.
Right.
Can you imagine being a living human being that got traded for a fictional character? I thought that was super funny.
I mean, that's... At first I was thinking, like, yeah, people get traded all the time in, like, sports. But for a cartoon character, that is neat knowledge.
Yeah, can you imagine being on a real life, like, baseball team, and then they're like, hey, one of our producer guys needs us to have the rights to this game, so we're going to trade you to, like, the Red Sox.
we're going to trade you to the Baltimore Orioles, which was the worst team last year, by the way. A little extra knowledge, and I won't hijack this conversation much longer. For cash considerations. Cash considerations is apparently a most traded player. Imagine getting traded for like a couple $1,000s. That sucks. Go ahead.
But Walt's imagination and Roy's financial knowledge, Walt would have never been able to do everything he did without Roy. People give Walt lots of credit, but Roy was his right-hand man. They were just groundbreaking. The first cartoon was synchronized sound. The first full-length animated feature with color and synchronized sound. The first... There were theme parks at the time, but nothing like Disneyland when it came out. They just pushed the boundaries, and they continue to push it till this day. Walt said himself, Disneyland, and he didn't say Disney World because it wasn't completed by the time he passed away, but it'll never be done. It will continue to grow, and so will the company, and clearly this company has grown. It is only a matter of time before they take over the world, and I will be okay with that. So I'm have a list of all the animated movies. Like I said, animated only, theatrical releases only, and they have been broken down into eras. You start off with your golden age, which is 1937 to 1942. Some people will have this listed as longer, but I have it like the more broken down, the kind of thing. This era was described as the brilliant classic fairy tales. It includes Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. These were the groundbreaking films that it just blew people away, and people had never seen anything like this before, and it was awesome. And there's actually some cool history between the Golden Age and some parallels within it and the post-Renaissance, but No, I might get into that later. I don't know. It's not that important. Then World War II hit, which sent us into the package era. It changed things a lot because a lot of the animators got pulled into the war. Mm-hmm. Not as soldiers, though. They got pulled in to do
propaganda
films.
Oh, okay.
So the package era is from 1942 to 1949. It is described as war-affected films containing segments. So it's a lot of your films where it's just a bunch of short little videos to music kind of thing. Often with some live action in it as well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kind of Mary Poppins-esque, but not quite. This includes Saludos Amigos, Three Caballeros, Make Mine Music, Fun and Fancy Free, Melody Time, and The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. So short films compiled into one big film. A lot of these involved going around the world and making little clips about these areas. Mm-hmm. That leads us into the Silver Age from 1950 to 1967. It is a quote-unquote a return to technical brilliance without extending it. It includes Cinderella, which is Walt Disney's favorite bit of animation, by the way.
Really?
Her scene where her dress transforms.
Yes.
That was his favorite.
Awesome.
His favorite song was Feed the Birds from Mary Poppins.
Okay.
But Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, The Sword and the Stone, and The Jungle Book were all part of the Silver Age. Then we got into the Bronze Age, 1970 through 1988, which was described as a creative dead zone, which
creative
dead zone.
All right.
That includes the Aristocats, Robin Hood, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, The Rescuers, The Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, The Great Mouse Detective, and Oliver and Company.
Isn't Black Cauldron the one that almost sent Disney under?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which is really weird to me because I didn't know this as a child, and I really liked the Black Cauldron despite how scary the main dude was.
Yeah.
We were talking about this at work the other day. I think it was me and Hunter, and he kept getting Black Cauldron confused with The Sword and the Stone. And the more I thought about it, I was like, you're pretty close. I mean, there is a guy who with a magic sword, and it is to defeat the bad dudes, and it's pretty close. But there's a very scary lich-looking dude in that I think he is actually a lich now that I remember.
And Princess Elanwi. Hello, I'm Princess Elanwi.
Quick question. Mm-hmm. Oliver and Company, what year did that come out? Was that's tail end of it?
1988.
88. Okay, so I remember this is how old I am. Mm-hmm. I remember watching the commercials for it as a kid.
Really?
And it was coming out in theaters, and I remember I would assume I haven't actually I don't remember names very well, but Oliver's a cat, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I remember him walking over the grate, and the air was pushing up his fur
Dodger.
and whatever. And I remember that scene.
I worry?
Yeah. And then when it was re-released a couple years back, I was like, wait a second. I've seen this before. There's no way this is just now coming out. Did it get delayed? What's going on?
The Vault. The classic Disney Vault. They'll take movies and they'll put it into the vault, and you cannot purchase it until it comes back out of the vault.
101 Dalmatians did the same thing, I think.
All of these have been in and out of the vault at one point or another. See, I'm the thing that I'm most shocked by is the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh in this, because that is one of Disney's biggest character.
Yeah.
Group of characters, Everybody knows Pooh. Everybody knows Tigger, Piglet, the whole 100 Acre Woods gang. And that was in the middle of the creative dead zone. That blows my mind. And a lot of these, I'm personally insulted that they're described as a creative dead zone, but I'm just shocked that Winnie the Pooh is in there. Because I'm a huge fan of Fox and the Hound, Oliver and Company. Great Mouse Detective was one of my favorite ones.
It's so good.
Growing up, and the Aristocats. Mm-hmm. Some of these I agree with, like the Black Cauldron and the Sword and the Stone.
Didn't Oliver and Company have Cheech from Cheech and Chong as the Chihuahua?
Cheech Marin?
I think so.
I don't know.
Did I say the Sword and the Stone was in? Sorry, the Sword and Stone.
I remember
was in
just
this
random
era.
facts from movies.
Well, it's a. It's supposed to be Oliver Twist. It's a reimagination of Oliver Twist.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
This makes so much sense.
You know, a lot of a lot of early Disney movies are reimaginations.
Right.
Well,
A lot of modern Disney movies are.
Because if we did Cinderella...
Lion King is Hamlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lion King 2 is Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
And Lion King 3 is another Shakespeare. Or
Macbeth.
1.5.
No.
It's not Macbeth. It's another Shakespeare one, and I can't remember what it's like. The Fool and the Bard or something.
Okay. So one of the like lesser known ones.
Yeah. I can't remember the name.
See, I was just going from the fact of Cinderella not being what Cinderella is actually written as. But
Well, none of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales. Snow White is not what it's written as, but Snow White was Walt Disney's favorite fairy tale. And when he was thinking, I want to do a fairy tale, that was the first one. And when he was pulling his animators in to do it, they were like, no, Walt, we can't do this. This is crazy. And he got up there and he acted. He put all his animators in one room and he acted out the whole movie by himself in front of them. And they're like, sold. We'll do this.
Heck yeah.
He did different voices. He like got the apple and like put a thing over his head to look like the witch. And there's some really good footage of him do it's such a great moment. That brings us to one of the most well-known Disney eras, the Disney Renaissance, a quote-unquote a return to the lost fairy tale glory from 1989 to 1999. This includes movies like The Little Mermaid, The Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan.
Hercules.
I thought it was interesting that all these movies, it was 1 year after the other. 89, 90, 93 was the only year that a movie did not come out.
Lion King came out in 92, right?
94.
94, okay. I could have sworn it was 93, but...
94.
Okay.
But,
Commercial may have came out in 93.
It could have. Yeah.
a lot of these movies came out around November. Or at least now they do. I don't know if that's how they used to, but Thanksgiving weekend is usually when the big Disney movie comes out. That leads us into the post-Renaissance, 1999 to 2007, described as a creative funk.
Funk. Kind of like a recession, but not a dead zone.
Which also insults me because some of your favorite movies are in this. This includes Fantasia 2000. That is not included as one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
Whatever.
I doubt it's if anyone's.
Dinosaur, like the ride in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I believe that one.
Emperor's New Groove.
What?
I know. Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Okay.
Lilo and Stitch. Treasure Planet. Brother Bear. Home on the Range. Chicken Little. Meet the Robinsons. And Bolt. Sorry, I said till 2007. It's till 2008 because Bolt came out in 2008.
Range?
You don't remember Home on the Range? It's a bunch of cows, and they live on this farm, and the farm's about to be sold, and they have to stop this evil yodeling man that hypnotizes cows with his yodeling.
Oh yeah,
To
I
get
remember that one.
it is a creative.
I'm starting
funk,
to believe the
but-
creative funk portion. Hey guys, what
Some
should
of
we
these-
do a movie about? I don't know. My kid was telling me about dinosaurs last time. Dinosaur. There we go.
Hey, that is a great ride.
Yeah.
Hello there. I'm one heck of a paleontologist, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, ride movies are different.
The movie isn't that great, but
But
the
the fact that
Emperor's
Atlantis,
New
you said,
Groove,
and
Atlantis,
Emperor's New
Lilo
Groove?
and Stitch, Treasure
Yeah.
Planet, and Brother Bear. That makes me angry.
What's really weird is they were super proud of Lilo and Stitch because of the watercolor backgrounds and the styling. And
That
all
brings me
kind of
back
stuff.
to the whole. It mirrors the Golden Age a lot because Dumbo came right after Fantasia and Pinocchio. Those were really expensive movies with the animation style they did. So they did Dumbo in a watercolor type of animation, and it was a lot cheaper to do. Well, Stitch came out after Atlantis and Emperor's New Groove and Fantasia 2000, another Fantasia. Like all these movies were expensive movies, and they didn't have as much money, so Lilo and Stitch was cheaper to do by doing watercolor backgrounds and stuff like that. And
what were you saying, Steven? I cut you off.
Was I saying anything?
I guess.
I don't think I was.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought you were
I think I was
to
clear
talk.
my throat, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Still reeling from the sickness, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then finally, we enter the Disney revival from 2009 to the present. It is expanding the empire, because it's officially an empire. This includes movies.
Yeah, Star Wars
started
and
with
Marvel, yeah.
Star Wars and Marvel are not included in this list. So the Disney revival started with Princess and the Frog, which was another groundbreaking movie. Tangled. Mm-hmm. Winnie the Pooh, the remake, the 2011 one that had the song in the trailer. It's the only one on this list, or it's one of the only two on this list that I have not seen. Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, Moana, and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Ralph Breaks the Internet and Winnie the Pooh are the only two movies on this list that I have not seen.
Oh, wow.
But that brings us... That is the breakdown of the Disney history.
Okay.
Moving on to Pixar. Pixar started in 1974 with some college guys, and they didn't actually team with Disney until 1986. And they teamed up with them just on a bunch of little projects, and they did some animation. Like, Pixar had, copyrighted this animation style, and Disney worked with them so they could use that. But that happened in 1986, but Disney did not buy Pixar until 2006.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. But their first big Disney Pixar movie... Can you guess which one it is?
Toy Story.
Toy Story. 1995... Yep. Toy Story.
95 was a great year.
95 was a great year.
Yeah. I was born that year.
I was born that year.
Oh, snap. Well, I mean, I just named it. I just going to say 95 just feels like a really good year.
It was. It was fantastic.
Toy Story, Pocahontas.
I was living in Florida.
Wow, really?
You were living in Florida and you've never been to Disney World?
Panama City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That
wow.
makes sense.
I went to Miracle Stress.
So we have Toy Story in 1995, Bug's Life in 1998, Toy Story 2 in 1999, Monsters, Inc. 2001, Finding Nemo 2003, Incredibles 2004, Cars 2006, Ratatouille 2007, WALL-E 2008, Up 2009.
Wow.
2010 was Toy Story 3. They made this specifically because the kids growing up with Toy Story in 1995 were graduating high school and going into college.
Well thought out.
Well thought out. They would do this again later on. We'll get to that. Cars 2 came out in 2011. It's a trash garbage movie. It makes me mad to include it on this list. Brave came out in 2012. Another big deal. That is Pixar's one and only princess.
Oh, didn't know that.
Oh. Yeah.
It's the only Pixar princess. But she is still included in the Disney princess lineup. And a lot of princesses are not. There's whole theories on this. Matt Pat, the film theory guy, he's done a whole series on it. It's really fascinating.
Interesting.
Pixar did again with Monsters University. The kids grew up watching Monsters Inc., including myself and Rayce. I graduated in 2013. That is the year Monsters University came out, where the monsters were going to college. It was a prequel, but
I just remember, I don't remember much about that movie. I may remember the mom listening to death metal in her car.
Yeah, that's great. A funny thing about when you're at Disney World and you see the college program kids, that's how I worked for Disney. It's a college internship. Almost all the college program kids have the Monsters University baseball cap, including myself. You could spot the college kids around the parks with that cap. Inside Out came out in 2015. Good Dinosaur also came out in 2015. Finding Dory came out 2016. Cars 3 came out 2017. Coco 2017. And Incredibles 2 came out this last year in 2018.
Oh, yes. I love Pixar so much.
I'm a big Pixar fan myself. Clearly, I worked at Toy Story and Pixar Place at Hollywood Studios, which is mainly just Toy Story Street featuring Cruz Ramirez from Cars 3. But I digress.
Quick question before we get into the brackets and stuff.
Yes.
and I could be completely wrong about everything about this, but that really sought after restaurant that you have to reserve like 30, 40 years ahead of time or something like that. Is that real?
Which one are we talking about?
Oh, okay. So it is.
That's a bit of an exaggeration, but
yeah, there's one that has like an extremely long waiting list, and it costs like so much money to like eat there, and it's like hidden in a random place. I don't know. Maybe taking the dots here.
It's not a restaurant; it's a club. Club 33.
Okay. Gotcha.
To be in Club 33 is like a big deal.
Yeah.
And I met my first Club 33 people this last time working at Disney, and you get like this, it looks like one of those black credit cards.
Right.
And they're like, here you go, I could get in the front of any line. Like,
oh, okay, so super VIP.
Yeah, it's super, and I had never seen it before, so I was like, this is fake. I'm like, no. And especially because they came up to us, when I was working at Toy Story, the ride was being under construction at the time, and we weren't taking fast passes during this like few weeks, and they came up to me with the Club 33 pass and like, this is our fast pass. I'm like, haha, that's funny because we're not doing fast passes right now. And they're like, excuse me, I'm Club 33. And I'm like, oh wait, what? You're one of those? Like, that is a life goal if I ever become you have to be like a multimillionaire to be in Club 33. It's a big deal.
I've only read like small little bits and stories about like people who've been able to like be part of it, either through like extended family.
They have a restaurant to themselves in the California park in Disneyland. But yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Okay, so it is real. Yes.
So we have our movie brackets. Do we want to go through? I could just say who's versus what, just as a quick through so they can hear, and then we'll talk about which ones were hard for us and our final things.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have Snow White versus Saludos Amigos, Cinderella versus Aristocats, Little Mermaid versus Fantasia 2000, The Princess and the Frog versus Pinocchio. I can't talk today. Three Caballeros versus Alice in Wonderland, Robin Hood and the Rescuers Down Under, Dinosaur versus Tangled, Fantasia versus Make Mine Music, Peter Pan versus The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Beauty and the Beast and Emperor's New Groove, The New Winnie the Pooh and Dumbo, Fun and Fancy Free versus Lady and the Tramp, The Rescuers versus Aladdin, Atlantis the Lost Empire versus Wreck-It Ralph, Bambi versus Melody Time, Sleeping Beauty versus The Fox and the Hound, Lion King versus Lilo and Stitch, Frozen versus The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, 101 Dalmatians and the Black Cauldron, Pocahontas, Treasure Planet, Big Hero 6 and the Sword and the Stone, The Great Mouse Detective versus The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Brother Bear versus Zootopia, The Jungle Book versus Oliver and Company, Hercules versus Home on the Range, Moana versus Mulan, Chicken Little versus Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Tarzan versus Meet the Robinsons. So we could go through that first, and then we'll break down the
Pixar.
Pixar.
Now, I will say though that I don't think we should go through every single matchup.
No, that's what I was saying. Like our top, these were the ones that were really hard for us, and then here's how our final results.
So like spend a lot of time on the first, and then just kind of go into like the top. Okay,
yeah,
awesome. Me personally, I didn't really have like a really hard one on the Disney side. First starting off, besides I think Sleeping Beauty and Fox and the Hound was like my hardest one.
Yeah.
Because both films are vastly different, but I love both of them for different reasons.
Yeah.
So,
see,
it was really hard.
I'm a fan of every Disney movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Or most every Disney movie. But Sleeping Beauty has never been one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. But this last time I've been at, I met so many people that this was their end-all, be-all Disney movie. And I'm like, I don't get it.
It's because of Maleficent?
But then, Maleficent, yes. But also, Prince Philip was the first Disney prince with personality.
Okay.
So that was a big thing. And then a lot of the girls just liked the character of Aurora herself. And Briar Rose, Sleeping Beauty, that's all the same person.
Gotcha.
But, then I watched it with some of them, and they gave me a newfound appreciation for it.
Good.
Yeah. I, too, struggled with something versus the Fox and the Hound. What was mine? Fox and the Hound versus Beauty and the Beast. That wasn't the original breakdown, but as like my brackets started going down, it was Fox and the Hound versus Beauty and the Beast. I was like, that is one movie that will never fail to make me cry. Like, when it gets to the goodbye may seem forever, farewell is like the end, I'm like, I'm done. I'm lost. And the ending when he's like, we'll always be friends, right? And I'm just like, no. But
oh gosh,
it breaks my heart. But Rayce, did you struggle with any?
Not particular. There were some of them that I was like, I don't really know which of these two. I kind of figured which one would end up winning, so I really wasn't worried about a ton of it. Mm-hmm. But one of my hardest ones was probably me trying to decide between Treasure Planet and Hercules.
Yeah.
Once I got it to near the end results, essentially, that was when it started getting a little bit harder for me.
Yeah.
But that was really about it.
I feel like with a lot of mine, it was breaking down, okay, this one has a really strong nostalgic feel to me.
Right.
And a very close personal attachment versus this one is just the better movie kind of thing. Like, Dumbo made it pretty high because that was like mine and my mom's movie. That's the lullaby she sang to me growing up and all this stuff. But I'm like, it's not the best movie, but I just have a close personal attachment to it.
For me, the easiest way for me to get through it was just look at the two that were next to each other. Whichever one popped in my head first was the one that ended up winning. Mm-hmm. So it made it a lot easier for me because I didn't just like go, okay, well, I really like this scene or this scene. I was just like, okay, this one or this one. Okay, that scene popped in my head. We'll do this one because that's the first thing that happened.
Right.
So it was really that made it a lot easier because I didn't have to actually go through and do a whole like movie critic thing in my head on each of them.
Yeah, my method was if I was picking between one or two of them, which movie would I want to watch right now? If I had to watch a movie, sit down and do it. Which one am I more apt to watch? And it's not like, oh, I haven't seen this movie, so that's the answer. No, it's if I've seen both of them, which one am I going to sit there and enjoy more at this moment? And it would be that.
Yeah, I went back the other day on Netflix, and I just looked up Disney movies, and it's a lot of the Emperor's New Groove, Hercules, like all those. I'm like, I don't know what to watch. I ended up watching 101 Dalmatians, a live-action movie with Glenn Close, but that is the first movie I ever saw in theaters.
Really?
Yeah. That's, again, like 101 Dalmatians is not the best movie, but I have a close personal attachment to it. Good. I collect 101 Dalmatian trinkets and stuff like that, the ornaments from McDonald's and
oh yeah,
all that. I'm a teacher. Our 100th day of school is next week, and everybody does dress like a 100-year-old person. I'm like, no. I'm doing the 101st day of school, and I'm going to be Cruella de Vil, and all my kids are going to be little Dalmatians. So that's how I'm doing it. Because 101 Dalmatians is bae. But moving on. What ended up being, do y'all want to do your top 2 or top 3?
I did my top 4.
Top 4? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty, the top 3 have always been the top 3. Mm-hmm. But I had a surprise 4th. Because the one bracket I did before it was a bracket of 64, I think, but did not include my number 4 on there. And so it actually, just based on the bracket, just was able to cruise on by.
Yeah. See, the brackets make things difficult because it knocks some things out earlier than you would personally want it to be because it's up against, like, your favorite early on. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
It's like Jungle Book was knocked out pretty early for me. And that's insane because every now and then when I start to get a little tipsy or drunk or whatever, and I'm like, I got to scratch my back, I start singing Blue. Yeah, that's right.
My dad says that is the best soundtrack in a Disney movie. That you will.
It's up there.
We were watching Big Hero 6. And he's like, what happened to Disney music? You went to smooth jazz from the Jungle Book, and now it's Fall Out Boy. And then, lo and behold, Fall Out Boy does a cover of I Want to Be Like You from the Jungle Book.
I was about to bring out Ghostbusters one, and it's the worst cover I've ever heard of anything in my life. But we're not talking about that. That's not Disney.
They did a cover of
I
Want to Be Like You. on the soundtrack, Oh My Disney, which is a bunch of Disney covers. Like Disney Mania back in the day, which...
Yes.
I freaking love Disney Mania, y'all.
I feel that for the grand finale of the top 4, I think you should do it last.
Okay.
I'm going to start with mine because I think I'm less in tune with Disney than... If me and Rayce had a Disney fight, who would win? You would probably, right?
I'm married to the Disney
so
freak,
yeah, so I want to go first. That's our own little bracket. Starting number 4, Rescuers Down Under.
Oh,
really?
Yes.
See, that's one of my least favorites.
Really?
I'm not a big Rescuers fan.
Growing up, I liked Australia a lot.
Yeah.
I loved everything to do with it. I used to watch Steve Irwin all the time.
Me too.
Yes. Crocodile Dundee, things like that. And I would do all my book reports on Australia because no one picked Australia, so I would do that. And I had a whole page on boomerangs, and I don't remember anything of it. But it snuck in my top 4 based on the bracket itself, so I thought that was pretty neat. But the top 3 have always been my top 3, and it just happened to be that way with the bracket itself. So, of course, 4, Rescuers Down Under, 3, Lion King, 2, Aladdin. That's a very close thing. I could swap those, and it really wouldn't matter. But I just feel like Aladdin edges it over more often than not. And number 1, Hercules. So
I wonder if that's like a guy thing. Like Hercules is very favored among boys.
It's very superhero-esque.
Yeah.
Roman mythology. It's got as a kid, scary images. Hades.
The Hydra, which was
Styx.
in CGI for some reason, totally different animation quality, and it's just like a really weird thing to watch now. But
and
I'm cool.
Megra being my first official Disney crush.
I'm a damsel. I'm in distress. I could handle it.
Because she's so mean.
Sassy.
Yeah. And she's not like all like, help me, but she wants to be helped. Yeah. But it's more like, I'm a tough woman, whatever. And that's the kind of personality I gravitate towards. So
it cracks me up. Oh, like I said, I went to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parade party thing when I was a kid, and there was a big float for Hercules, and it had all the muses dancing in front of it, and then Hades, Pain and Panic were on the front of the float, and there was like a giant Hydra was like at the top, and then on the back it had Meg. It was supposed to look like she was chained by her wrist to the thing, and she was like fighting it, like she just like looked bored and annoyed, and then every now and then she would like tug against the chain. But like looking back at the video, the chain is connected to her hip and not even to her wrist. Float. Like it's to her wrist, to her hip. And so she's just pulling against her hip. And like going back and watching those videos, I'm just like, Meg, what are you doing? What?
Maybe this is maybe Meg's the reason why I like angry Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah. Y'all would like on the Disney Cruise Line, or at least when I went, there was a whole show it was like Villains Tonight. And it's hosted by Hades, Pain and Panic.
Nice.
And it's like a villains awards banquet kind of. It was so funny, but
he's a guy.
Hades is one of the coolest villains.
Absolutely.
I could go on a whole total different thing on like who is the scariest Disney villain. The answer is Judge Frollo, and Gaston. But moving on.
Nobody does it like Gaston.
I would say my top 4 ended up being my top 4 to kind of choose from near the end were Hercules, Treasure Planet, Emperor's New Groove, and Tangled. That ended up being my top 4. Tangled just because of how much it meant to Alex and about us and stuff. So that's why it got in there. Emperor's it was just funny. It was just out of all these kind of ones that were always like, oh, even though it's kind of got a moral in the story and stuff, it was kind of the first ones I remember that was just there to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't really like a super serious movie. And Treasure Planet, of course, just from
really
aesthetics, it's what got me into really a pretty good bit into like pirates and stuff like that at the time. And just that kind of weird steampunk-esque futuristic thing was really neat that kind of happened in it. And then, of course, Hercules, same reasons as kind of you. It got me into that sort of mythology and just the character design, the way it was. And it just got me more and more into it. And then a little bit more kind of when the TV show sort of released for a little bit there. I enjoyed it. Even though now I look back, I was like, that doesn't really make a ton of sense as far as the show itself, but whatever.
Originally, when we did this, or when I started making these brackets, I used a bracket that was like online that went viral on Facebook a few months ago, but it was missing a lot of these, so I went back and made my own, and I was surprised. Frozen made it really high up on your list on that bracket, Rayce. That kind of shocked me. I really enjoyed it because I have a younger sister, and we're the same ages as Anna and Elsa and very similar personality. So I had a big connection, and we do the birthday parties and all that, but I was just surprised how high it made it up on your list. I'm going to do top 5 just because some of these are just so tied on here. Mine are The Lion King, Tarzan, The Little Mermaid, Tangled, and Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
Lion King, I just feel like it's one of those, like, when a lot of people think Disney, they think The Lion King. And it's one of my favorite experiences in the park, too. In Animal Kingdom, they have the Festival of the Lion King, and it's like this big show that you go in, and there's these floats, and there's these dancers, and there's a fire twirler, and acrobats and all this stuff, and I have never gone into there and watched a show without crying, just with how beautiful it is. And I just feel like I'm so excited about the new live action remake, y'all.
I can't wait either.
I can't wait. Tarzan's another one of those like that I have a strong emotional bond to, because it's the lullaby in it is what my mom sang to me growing up as a kid. And then Phil Collins did not have to go as hard as he did on that soundtrack, but he did that for us. But he recorded that soundtrack in like every language it came out in.
Really?
Yeah, he did the soundtrack. They didn't have someone else translate it and do it. He did the soundtrack and sang it in all the different languages it came out in, and like he rocked it. Tarzan's a wonderful movie.
Oh yeah.
Little Mermaid Ariel was my favorite princess growing up, until she was my number one before Tangled came out. And then, sorry, Ariel, Rapunzel kicked you off the boat and back into the water. So, and then that leads me to my top 2, Tangled and Lilo and Stitch, and that is the hardest decision.
Oh no.
On this whole thing. And Rayce and I, before we even started recording this, he had to talk through this with me for like 30 minutes the other night.
Holy moly.
On going back and forth on which movie was better. And I ended up finally deciding on Lilo and Stitch as overall is my favorite. However, Tangled does have the best scene in animated history, in my opinion, and that is the lantern scene. It is the most beautiful cinematography ever. I have a painting of it downstairs in our living room. I have a reenactment of it downstairs in our living room, and a painting of our reenactment of it downstairs in our living room. So, it's great. Those are my all-time favorite movies. And like I said, I have a sister, so Lilo and Stitch. People say Frozen was like the first sisters movie. No.
Right.
It was Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
And about it just being the whole family thing. It's the best.
All right, let's get on to Pixar.
Before, real quick, is there an overrated film, Disney-wise, that you...
Frozen.
No.
I'm not trying to put like a negative on it.
No.
But like,
they're.
Yeah.
I think. Let's see. I'm gonna get hate for this.
Go for it.
I love Aladdin.
Oh no!
But I don't think it's as good as everybody.
Oh,
if it weren't for Robin Williams,
right?
He's what makes it one of the best movies. But for it to be considered like one of the Disney movies, no.
Oh no! Mine was also Frozen. So
Frozen.
Yeah, like
Don't get me wrong.
It's good. It's good. but like I don't think it just feels good for one song. Two songs.
Let It Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just didn't understand like how it could be like that crazy good, but also at the same time I do.
Yeah.
But I just don't relate to it.
I don't
That's
think
why.
it's as good as everybody makes it out to be.
Right.
But I still think it's a great movie, and I thought it was really funny that it was one of the first ones Disney did that like makes fun of itself, kind of thing. Like it's making fun of the Disney formula in a way. It's subverting expectations, but no, don't get me wrong. I love Aladdin. I'm super excited for the remake.
Same.
But it's not one of my tops.
Gotcha.
She's not one of my top princesses.
She's not one of my top princesses either.
Mulan was a far superior movie.
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid's a far superior movie. Like, but I digress.
Yeah.
Moving on to Pixar.
Pixar time.
You said you really struggled with
it's the second matchup is hard because that's literally like in my top movies of all time.
I'm curious to see. We could just on a count of three. We could do like a group one on this.
We could.
So Cars or Bugs Life?
For me, Cars.
Bugs Life. I hate Cars.
So Cars.
I love Cars, the first one, but I understand why people hate it. I completely understand.
Kachiga.
Yeah.
I hate it for Mater and other. If Mater was taken out of the movie, I'd enjoy Cars. Wow. There's one scene. So my friend that loves Sleeping Beauty, Cars is her favorite movie too.
What's wrong with rusty cars?
But so she also made me. We drank a little bit and we watched Cars, and that's the most I've ever enjoyed Cars. But there's this one part where they're driving by and it's got that little car, the little minivan with the wheel is like a little bit flat and the bed is on, the mattress is on its head. It's like trying to get around. It's like me, and like we would pass each other at work because she worked with me at Toy Story. We'd be like me as we walked by each other, and that will forever be my favorite part of Cars. But I don't know. Cars just isn't my favorite.
All right, Steven.
What?
Oh wait, sorry.
Or Wally.
Up or Wally? Yeah.
That's tough because
I went with Up.
I
went with Up too, but it hurts me to not go with Wally.
Wally is a very beautiful movie, and it's a very underrated movie.
Extremely.
I feel like a lot of older people, not like that we're old, but like kids do not like Wally.
Because it's quiet.
Yes.
It's a very quiet,
but adults
slow burn film.
Enjoy Wally.
Yeah. It's cute.
It's such a cute movie.
And I've only seen it once.
And it's pure.
I've seen Up like 5 times. And it's still that hard.
The wilderness must be explored. Caca, rah. The Good Dinosaur or Finding Nemo?
Nemo.
That was an easy choice, Nemo. The Good Dinosaur is also... It's Yeehaw Dinosaurs.
Yeehaw Dinosaurs.
I actually really enjoy the scene where it's got Samuel Elliott, a.k.a. Other Ron, a.k.a. Caretaker, as the
T-Rex.
T-Rex
the cattle ranching T-Rex. That was the best part of the movie. Don't get me wrong. I cried a lot in The Good Dinosaur.
Right.
But it wasn't, and I think it's one of my least favorite Pixar movies.
Wow. And then Toy Story or Ratatouille?
Toy Story.
Yep. Toy Story 3 or Monsters University?
Toy Story.
This is a matchup I didn't see. I haven't seen both of them. Of course, I've mentioned I haven't seen Toy Story 3.
I have I do not have Monsters University, but I do have Toy Story 3. We could go downstairs and watch it, and I
would assume that 3 would be... I would like 3 a lot.
I picked Monsters University.
Get out of our house.
Yeah, get out of your house.
Monsters Inc. or Cars 3?
Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc.
Yep. Easy.
I did enjoy Cars 3.
I still forget that there's
Believe it or
sequels
not,
to Cars.
I really liked Cruz Ramirez. And I might be biased towards her because she sat outside Toy Story and told me, hey, nice treads every day. So, like... Cruz, I love you, babe.
Self-esteem boost every day. Was like, I do have nice treads.
She's back in the fun fact, all the cars, they used to be meetable. They had the cars as meet and greets in Disney in Hollywood studios. They are all underneath a little tarp in the cast member parking deck now. So
nice.
I could go park with Lightning McQueen and Mater on a reg. That's fine. Cars 2 or Brave?
Brave.
Easily. Cars 2 was a trash movie. It's the worst one on this list. Inside Out or The Incredibles?
Incredibles.
Inside Out was a wonderful movie, though. And did y'all know, interesting fact, with the whole disgust as one of the people, they changed the food that Riley was disgusted by in each country?
Really?
Like in America, it was broccoli. In Japan or China, I can't remember. It was like green beans or something. Like they changed. Oh no, it was green peppers.
Okay.
Like
I love green peppers.
Because like in America, lots of kids hate broccoli.
Right.
There, lots of kids hate green peppers. Like they changed the food in each country.
That's neat.
Fun fact.
That's cool.
Toy Story 2 or The Incredibles 2?
Toy Story 2, barely.
Toy Story 2 by a long shot.
Incredibles 2. Association. Because of Incredibles.
Coco or Finding Dory?
Coco.
It's got the aesthetic that I love a lot.
I loved Coco.
I hadn't seen it till about 2 or 3 nights ago, something like that.
We watched it earlier this week.
And it jumped up my list like pretty high as far as like favorite movies go after I watched it, because for me it was a big music thing, and growing up and stuff, wanting to be a musician and all that kind of thing, and all that kind of weird stuff, which is just like, it's kind of, even though it's not like to the same degree, it's also like the same sort of deal where you like figure out maybe the guy who's your like idol and stuff probably shouldn't have been,
right,
as far as for music taste and that kind of thing. So I identified to that because apparently,
spoiler alert,
because apparently someone in my family of friends or something like that is, at one point, it was somehow related to like Axl Rose, and they got to meet him once.
Right.
And apparently he was mean as a snake.
That's the consensus of what I've heard from everybody.
He was my favorite like hero, I guess, as a child for like being a singer, because that's all I would listen to was Guns N' Roses when I got super into rock music.
Right.
And then when I found that, I was like, oh man, that kind of sucks.
That's why I don't care to meet any celebrities ever.
Yeah, it sucks because they always say never meet your heroes.
Right.
They'll always let you down.
Because if I meet Jim Carrey and he's like a butt, I'm done. Like that's my life. That's my childhood.
John Stamos was really nice.
That's
as
good.
I accidentally called him out, but at Toy Story, I did not realize he was John Stamos. I was like, "Sir, you're in the wrong area." He was not in the wrong area. He was John Stamos.
But he was really nice about it.
Yeah, he just kind of smiled at me and went on his day, and I was just like, huh. I didn't realize till like 30 minutes later when he was getting back on the ride, I was like, oh my God, that's John Stamos. I just told John Stamos you're going the wrong way.
You treated him like a human being.
I did.
Good job.
That's what we're supposed to do. We're not allowed to talk to celebrities as if they were celebrities.
Right.
Captain America would have gone orange.
Yeah, when I worked at Mission Space, it's 2 different versions of the ride. There's the fast version and this version that doesn't spin. And before you get on the ride, we had to go green or orange, more intense or less intense. And the guy who trained me apparently met Chris Evans, Captain America, and was like, more intense or less intense. And he's like, oh, I'm going to go less, I'm going to go green. And my trainer apparently went, Captain America would have gone orange. And he's like, fine, give me the
That's amazing.
That still cracks me up.
So we've gotten down to...
So let's do top 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know this one was a harder one for you.
It's a lot easier because like the top outweighs everything else.
Yeah.
They're like in a league of its own when it comes to my top. So it's... Can I do top 4?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to build up, obviously, like the last time. Number 4, Toy Story. I feel that's a solid
Only
choice.
number 4?
Yeah. No, it's not. And it's not because you just said that.
It's totally because you just said that. You made him feel bad.
No, it's not, because Wall-E is going to be... I'll put Wall-E number 4.
Okay.
Toy Story number 3. 2 Up, 1 Incredibles. And
I feel like a lot of people agree with Incredibles as number 1.
They do. A lot of friends that I've talked to put Incredibles like at number 1. Either Incredibles,
but we are
Wall-E,
also all superhero fans. Big.
It's just a really interesting movie, especially like how like detailed they went with things. Was a little like really, you went that far in with your animation? Like someone
in the sequel
zoomed
they
in.
definitely did. That was in the sequel.
Oh yeah,
that's why it took the sequel so long.
Like there's literally like a part where like someone zoomed in and like you can see like the lint lifting up on like Mr. Incredible's like shirt.
Pixar has always been extremely detailed. That's why it took so long to make Brave. Mm-hmm. They animated each strand of hair.
Same for Sully and Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm. And Tangled, even though Tangled is not a Pixar movie, they also did her
animation's just so weird and interesting.
I love it.
Like it's like weird stuff you figure out, like animating each individual strand of hair, or even though this isn't Disney, like how the grass in Shrek is actually just hair animated green.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because their grass
the
texture
grass effects,
wouldn't
they
move
didn't like
what they wanted, but the hair texture would.
Hey, it works.
Yep, whatever gets it done.
Yeah. But
this is not a DreamWorks podcast, though, sir, so I need to keep your Shrek facts out of my Disney thing. That is one thing about working at Disney. All the people come in Universal gear, asking me where Hogwarts is. You're going to exit the park, take International Drive a good ways down, and then enter Universal Studios, and that's where you will find Hogwarts.
That's super funny.
And the people at Disney, people go around wearing the Mickey ears. At Universal, they go wearing Shrek ears. And
okay.
One of my friends would go around Disney wearing Shrek ears, and it would drive me.
I mean, if I was going to go to Universal, I'd wear donkey ears.
See, I wore my Hogwarts gear or my Jurassic Park gear.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Although that ride is closed now, but whatever.
Dang. Is it because the dinosaurs escaped?
No, it's because they're turning it into a Jurassic World ride.
Oh, so they did escape.
Thank God.
Rayce hated that ride.
Oh,
I hate that ride.
You hate all dinosaur rides.
I hate all of them because they're meant to be horror rides, and I do not do horror well.
Oh, that's
They're
right.
kids' rides.
I still close my eyes on dinosaurs.
I know you do. It's in every picture we take on dinosaur. It's great. I love it.
Time for the entire world to insult me.
Yeah, are we gonna insult you based on your list too?
Meanwhile, I'm shaking with Dr. Seeger going, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. That's part of the dialogue in the ride. If you're a time traveler and you're going to pick up an iguanodon, but you're like right before the
meteor strike.
You just said my favorite dinosaur ever.
The iguanodon.
Yes.
Hey, you're trying to pick up the iguanodon and bring it back with you. But it's like seconds before the meteor shower that made the whole extinction happen.
Right.
And you keep on stopping because the car picks up this dinosaur and it's not the right one. Or then the Carnotaurus comes chasing you and, oh no, we lost traction in our vehicle. And then finally you're trying to make it to the teleporting back and it's like the cart is shaking and Dr. Seeker's like, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. That's my favorite part. But it's great.
Rayce.
So back to your top 3.
So mine ended up being Toy Story 1, Incredibles, and Coco.
1, 2, 3.
3, 2, 1. So Coco was my number
Coco.
1.
Okay.
That's why I was saying that on the group chat when I was like, I changed his ranking. It's because
It was just so phenomenal. Like, for me, it was like a lot of like things like for instance in Coco, there's the scene where they figure out that he's into music and the grandma smashes his guitar, and that almost just wrecked me at the beginning because as someone who I build guitars in a very amateur sense of the term.
Well, so does Miguel. So
yeah, his is very. But like that was one of the cool things about it was like I could see all the stuff he had done. Like he had parts nailed in. Like and he didn't know how to actually get his hold of frets or couldn't because of where he was. So he had nails just inserted on the side of the guitar to act as the frets, and just the weird little things that like he had screws as like the tuners, and just little things like you could tell this kid like spent as much time as he could to make his dream guitar with what little he could, knowing that his family would, you know, not allow him to do it. And just the fact that it was broken, I was like, I can't imagine, like they didn't show it in the movie or anything like that, but I was like, I can't imagine how long it took him to build that guitar and learning how to play guitar on such a guitar like that. Like it was probably so out of tune. There was probably little things and stuff that just weren't right about it acoustically and all that kind of stuff, but he made what he could work. And then this thing that he probably spent a really, really long time to do, aside from almost burning his house to the ground because of all those candles he had lit in the attic that would probably have burned that entire little thing down in such a dry climate. Aside from all that, he spent probably so much time putting that guitar together and learning how to play, and then it getting smashed in front of him would have just like killed me as a kid. And then the rest of the movie was just super beautiful. The music in it's fantastic, and for being a kid's sort of movie, it's very adult. And
Pixar does that a lot, though. Inside Out is about depression. Toy Story 3 is about the inevitability of death and growing up, you know.
And it was just, but there was like even stuff like
Finding Dory's about mental illness.
You would think even though they don't specify it and stuff like that, there's stuff like they drink the tequila shot, like as the guy like passes away in the movie.
Knuckles drag on.
Yeah, the knuckles drag across the floor. And there's just lots of things in there. It's like they could have removed it because it's going to be for a kid, but they let it be real because in that culture, it's not even just the fact it's an adult thing. It's just something that's a part of it. And the fact they let a lot of that stuff stay was really cool to me.
And speaking of culture, I mean, it's such a great movie for representation too. The fact that there's a Disney song in Spanish, that it's meant to be in Spanish and stuff. And at Epcot right now in the Mexico Pavilion, they've changed a lot of it over to Coco, and it's just really pretty and beautiful. Although there's a rumor saying they're changing the Three Caballeros ride to a Coco ride, and as cool as that would be, I love the Three Caballeros ride, so I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, Toy Story would have probably been Toy Story 2 probably would have been above Toy Story for me, but just because of where the bracket was, those would ended up in my top 3.
Right.
My top 3.
Incredibles is just Elastigirl.
Okay. My top 3 Pixar movies: Toy Story 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, shocker.
In that order?
No.
Toy
Story 3 is in third. But this is another, I had a hard time between Toy Story 1 and 2. But I think Toy Story 2 ends up coming on top mainly because I love Jessie. She's one of my favorite characters. The fact that Buzz and Woody are already friends at the beginning of this movie, and it's just, you know, going beyond the friendship. And the number one hit, Woody's Roundup, is featured in Toy Story 2. But also, you know, When Somebody Loved Me is an amazing song as well.
I'm a married spud.
I'm a married spud. Barbie comes to us in Toy Story 2, and I've never been a Barbie girl growing up, but...
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
Are they gone? Oh, good, my cheeks hurt from all this smiling. That's the most, like, accurate line from a cast member ever.
And then my personal favorite scene from 2.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Playing catch with my dad.
Go long, son. I am your father. No. And then the fact that Pixar does the blooper reels at the end of their movies.
They do so good.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Disney started doing that with some of their movies. Like when they re-released Lion King, they did a blooper reel with Lion King, and it's really funny. But Pixar started that with, they started with Bug's Life.
Yeah, Bug's Life had it.
Okay.
I don't know if, I can't remember Toy Story 1 having a blooper reel, but I know Bug's Life did.
I don't remember. But you guys will know more.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then, you know, Pixar has its running things like you will always find the Luxo ball.
Mm-hmm.
You'll always find the lamp.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza truck.
The pizza truck.
Yeah.
The Pizza Planet delivery truck. And what's his face's voice? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking.
The guy
on
who
his
plays
voice.
Ham.
Ham. He's Mac in Cars. Oh my gosh.
Okay, who is he in Coco?
That's a good question. 1 second. I feel so dumb not remembering his name all of a sudden. Forgive me, Disney fans. John Ratzenberger.
Okay.
And he's the Underminer.
Oh, Incredibles.
Incredibles. He's the orthodontist.
In Nemo?
No, remember when they're going through the customs and they're, oh, you're on your family's ofrenda. He was the guy on the orthodontist ofrenda, the guy with the braces.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least I'm assuming that because this looks like Spanish for orthodontist. It's Juan Ortodoncia.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's my best guess. But he is a voice Pixar. In every single Pixar movie.
That's awesome.
Every single one. Including WALL-E, which was a clip of him on the TV.
Nice.
I think. Because it says he's voiced John. So.
Yeah, I think he plays the president or whatever.
No. But.
No, that's a different guy. I remember who plays the president now.
Yep.
So, now is the last question.
Yes.
You said Hercules was your number one?
Yes.
Hercules versus...
Incredibles.
And that goes Hercules versus Coco.
Hercules.
Incredibles.
And mine would be Lilo and Stitch versus Toy Story 2. Lilo and Stitch.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
We got 2 Disney and 1 Pixar.
Backwards.
I was just trying to go the distance.
Oh, yeah, sorry, 2 Disney. I thought it was the way you were nodding your head. I got myself confused. Because you gestured at him, and then I was thinking, you two picked Pixar, and I picked Disney. And I was like, wait, no, he also picked Disney.
Yep.
So that makes sense.
It's a tough choice, but I just think Incredibles is a good bit above everything else for me.
For me, I just was trained to go the distance, so Hercules went the distance.
I know. Don't try to make me feel bad about this. Because I will.
Love my Ohana. So, and Elvis Presley doing the soundtrack, you can't go. My family is obsessed. With Elvis. My cousin, for his 10th birthday party, we had an Elvis impersonator, and it was just a huge we love Elvis. But that's about it. Anybody want to make some last minute comments or?
Disney's good.
Disney
Watch more Disney.
That's underrated. That is an understatement. Disney is phenomenal. It's magical. It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. But
yes, we should do Disney movies live action one time.
I'll be down for that. Or if we ever want to do, we know we're going to record our Suicide Squad thing. We should do a Disney one. And
the Suicide Squad is going to happen, and
this is our go-to mention of Suicide Squad.
We got to because. Am I going to watch it by myself or going to watch it with people? Because I don't mind either way.
We're going to watch it together, I thought.
Okay, good. All right, cool.
But
let's go.
We don't like to say goodbye here, so we're going to do a phrase. It's Kwaharini. It means to go well, and see you real soon.